What if I told you that something sitting quietly in your fridge could actually help rebuild your muscles after 65? I'm not talking about some miracle supplement or a new workout gadget. I'm talking about cheese. Yes, cheese. The food most people think they should eat less of might actually be the key to staying strong and steady as we age. I know, cheese has a bit of a bad reputation. Too fatty, too salty, too indulgent. But here's the thing. When you choose the right kinds of cheese, you're not just getting flavor, you're getting real, powerful nutrition that your aging muscles desperately need. If you've noticed your legs feeling weaker, or maybe it's harder to get up from a chair than it used to be, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck that way. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 specific cheeses that are surprisingly rich in muscle-supporting proteins, healthy fats, and essential nutrients. These aren't your average snack cheeses. They're natural tools for muscle repair, and they're easy to find at any grocery store. So if you care about staying independent, moving confidently, and feeling strong in your own body, stick with me. And hey, before we jump in, I'd love to know, do you eat cheese regularly? What's your go-to kind? Drop a comment and let me know. I'd really enjoy hearing what's in your fridge. All right, let's dive in. Let's start with something that no one really talks about, but almost everyone over 65 experiences. It's called sarcopenia, the natural loss of muscle as we age. Now, I know that sounds like a medical term, but here's what it really means. You start to feel a little weaker. You might notice stairs feel steeper. Getting up from the couch takes a bit more effort. Or maybe you've had a few close calls with your balance lately. That's sarcopenia at work. And the truth is, it starts quietly in our 50s, and it speeds up in our 60s and 70s if we don't do something about it. But here's the good news. Muscle loss is not inevitable. You don't have to just accept getting weaker as part of aging. There are simple things you can do every single day through food, movement, and timing to slow it down and even reverse it. And one of the most effective tools, not a pill, not a gym membership, it's protein, and more specifically, getting enough of the right kind of protein at the right time. That's where cheese comes in, because certain cheeses are packed with exactly the type of protein your body needs to build, repair, and protect muscle, especially after 65. Coming up next, I'll show you the first one. It's soft, creamy, and surprisingly powerful. Let's take a closer look at cottage cheese. Let's start with one of the most underrated and honestly most powerful foods for aging muscles, cottage cheese. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Cottage cheese. Really? Isn't that just some bland diet food from the 1980s? I get it, but don't let its humble appearance fool you. Cottage cheese is one of the most effective muscle-supporting foods you can eat, especially after 65. Just half a cup of low-fat cottage cheese gives you around 14 grams of high-quality protein, and it only has about 80 calories. That means nearly 70% of its calories come from protein, and that's a big deal. Compare that to something like cheddar cheese, where only about 25% of the calories come from protein. Cottage cheese is in a different league, but here's what makes it even more special. It contains a powerful amino acid called leucine. Think of leucine as the ignition key that tells your body, hey, it's time to build muscle. As we age, our muscles become a little more stubborn. They don't respond to protein the same way they used to. That's why we need more leucine per meal just to get the same effect. Most older adults need about 3 grams of leucine per meal to really kickstart muscle growth. And guess what? Half a cup of cottage cheese gives you about 1 gram, all by itself. And there's more. Cottage cheese contains casein protein, which digests slowly over 6 to 8 hours. That's like giving your muscles a steady drip of nutrition all day long. This is especially helpful before bedtime, when your body goes several hours without food. A small serving of cottage cheese in the evening can help prevent overnight muscle loss. Yes, that's a real thing. Plus, it's easy to eat. A lot of older adults tell me they've lost their appetite, or they have trouble chewing tougher proteins like meat. Cottage cheese is soft, gentle on digestion, and extremely versatile. You can eat it right out of the container. Mix it with fruit in the morning. Blend it into a smoothie where you won't even taste it, or even stir it into casseroles or sauces. Here are a few of my favorite ideas. Breakfast. Mix with berries and a drizzle of honey for a protein-packed, antioxidant-rich start to your day. Savory option. Add chopped tomatoes, cucumbers, and herbs like dill or chives. Lunch or snack. Use it as a base for dips or mix it into tuna or chicken salad instead of mayo. Evening. Try half a cup before bed to help your body hold on to muscle while you sleep. So, how much should you eat? Aim for half to 1 full cup per day. And if possible, try having it in the morning, when your muscles are especially ready to absorb nutrients. Remember, consistency is what makes the difference. Even just one serving a day can help your body build and protect muscle over time. Up next, we'll look at a cheese you probably already have in your kitchen but might not realize just how powerful it is. Let's talk about Parmesan. Next up is a cheese that's probably sitting in your fridge right now, but chances are you've only been using it as a topping. Let's talk about Parmesan, or as it's traditionally called, Parmigiano Reggiano. Now, most people think of Parmesan as something you sprinkle on pasta, but here's what's amazing. Just 1 ounce of Parmesan, about the size of your thumb, packs over 10 grams of complete protein. That makes it one of the highest protein cheeses out there. And for older adults who may not eat large meals, that dense nutrition in a small bite is incredibly valuable. But it's not just about protein. Authentic Parmesan is aged for at least 24 months, and during that time, something pretty remarkable happens. Natural enzymes break down the protein into smaller, easier to digest pieces. In other words, it's almost pre-digested for you. That's a big deal, especially as our digestive systems get a little less efficient with age. Many of my older patients tell me they feel bloated or heavy after eating protein-rich meals. But Parmesan, it tends to go down very easily. And get this, because of the long aging process. Authentic Parmesan contains almost no lactose. That means even people who are lactose intolerant can usually enjoy it without any issue. But we're still not done. Parmesan is also a calcium powerhouse. 1 ounce gives you over 300 milligrams of calcium, about 25% of your daily needs. Now you might be thinking, isn't calcium just for bones? Well, yes, but your muscles need calcium too. Every single time your muscles contract, even just to help you stand or walk, they rely on calcium to function properly. In fact, research shows that older adults who don't get enough calcium have a much higher risk of muscle loss. So with Parmesan, you're getting both muscle-building protein and the calcium those muscles need to work. Now I know real Parmigiano Reggiano can be a little pricey, but here's the thing, you don't need much. 1 to 2 ounces a day is more than enough to make a real difference in your muscle health. That's just a couple of tablespoons when grated fresh. And speaking of fresh, skip the pre-grated stuff in the green can. When you grate it yourself, you get better flavor, better nutrition, and you'll probably find that you need less because it's so satisfying. Here are some easy ways to enjoy Parmesan every day. Breakfast, grated over scrambled eggs for a high protein, flavorful start to your morning. Lunch, sprinkle it over soups or salads. Just a tablespoon adds richness and depth. Dinner, use it to top roasted veggies, pasta, or make a protein-rich cauliflower or broccoli gratin. Snack, enjoy a few small chunks with fruit or nuts for a balanced, satisfying bite. And a quick tip, look for wheels stamped with the words Parmigiano Reggiano and a dotted rind. That's how you know you're getting the real deal. So, to recap, Parmesan gives you concentrated protein, bone and muscle supporting calcium, and it's easy to digest. It's proof that big health benefits really can come in small servings. And now, let's move on to a cheese that works almost like a post-workout protein shake, but in a soft, creamy, and delicious form. Let's talk about ricotta. Now let's talk about a cheese that doesn't just taste good, it works fast. I'm talking about ricotta. This soft, creamy cheese is often used in lasagna or desserts. But what many people don't realize is that ricotta is made from whey, and whey protein is one of the fastest absorbing proteins you can eat. Here's why that matters. As we age, our muscles don't just need more protein, they need it at the right time. After any kind of activity like walking around the block, gardening, or even light stretching, your muscles become extra responsive to nutrients. That's the perfect moment to give them protein they can use immediately. And ricotta does exactly that. Within 30 to 60 minutes of eating it, your body starts using the protein in ricotta to repair and rebuild muscle tissue. In fact, half a cup of whole milk ricotta gives you about 14 grams of protein, similar to cottage cheese. But the difference is the speed and the specific branch chain amino acids in ricotta, which go directly to your muscles. It's like sending in a repair crew the moment a job opens up. And because ricotta is so smooth and mild, it's also perfect for people who have trouble chewing or swallowing. No strong taste, no complicated preparation, just simple, creamy nutrition. Plus, ricotta is naturally low in sodium, especially compared to other cheeses. Half a cup contains only about 100 milligrams, which makes it a heart-friendly option. 2. And here's something exciting. Research shows that older adults who ate ricotta daily for just 90 days not only gained muscle, they also improved their balance and scored higher in physical performance tests. That's a pretty big win for something that spreads like cream cheese. So how can you use it? Breakfast. Spread it on whole grain toast with a drizzle of honey and a pinch of cinnamon. Lunch. Mix it with herbs and use it as a dip with raw veggies. Dinner. Add it to pasta sauce. Stuff it into roasted peppers or zucchini, or layer it into casseroles. Snack or dessert. Blend it with fruit or a little cocoa and honey for a healthy treat. Some people even stir it into pancake or muffin batter to boost protein without changing the flavor. Now here's a timing tip. Try to enjoy ricotta within 2 hours after being active. That's when your muscles are most ready to soak up its benefits. Even a short walk counts. So think of ricotta as your post-activity recovery food. Gentle, fast, and incredibly effective. All right. Now that you know which 3 cheeses can help support strong, healthy muscles, let's talk about when to eat them for the best results. Now that we've talked about what to eat, let's talk about when to eat it. Because timing really matters, especially when it comes to building and preserving muscle after 65. For years, we've been told that dinner should be the biggest meal of the day. But when it comes to muscle health, that advice may actually be working against you. Here's why. After a full night of sleep, 8, maybe even 10 hours, your body is in a fasting state. That means your muscles have been running low on nutrients. They may even be starting to break down to help fuel your body. So what you eat in the morning can either keep that breakdown going or flip the switch and say, time to rebuild. And that's where breakfast protein becomes so important. Studies show that older adults who eat 25 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast maintain muscle mass better than those who eat all their protein later in the day. But here's the problem. Most older adults are only getting 6 to 10 grams of protein in the morning, if that. Toast, coffee, maybe a banana. That's just not enough to trigger muscle repair. But with just one small change, like adding cottage cheese, ricotta, or even some grated Parmesan to your morning, you can hit that 25 to 30 gram target easily. Here's a simple example. Half a cup of cottage cheese = 14 grams. 1 tablespoon of grated Parmesan = 2-3 grams. 1 slice of whole grain toast with peanut butter = about 8-10 grams. That's over 25 grams of protein before 9 a.m. Oh, that early protein jumpstarts your day and sets your muscles up for better recovery, better strength, and more energy. And don't forget your post-activity window. If you take a walk, work in the garden, or do a bit of stretching, try to eat one of these cheeses within 2 hours. That's when your muscles are most receptive. So here's the bottom line. Eat protein early in the day, not just at dinner. Aim for 25 to 30 grams at each main meal. Use cheese as a convenient, effective way to get there. And remember, after activity is your golden window. Coming up next, we'll go over a few important health notes and how to make cheese work for your body, no matter your needs. Now, before we wrap up, let's talk about a few important health notes, because even good things need to be used the right way. Let's start with a common concern: lactose intolerance. Many older adults find that they can't tolerate milk the way they used to. But the good news is most of the cheeses we've talked about today are low in lactose. In fact, Parmesan, because it's aged for over 24 months, has virtually no lactose left. It's usually safe even for people who are very sensitive. Cottage cheese and ricotta do have some lactose, but much less than regular milk. If you're unsure, start with a small portion and see how your body responds. And if needed, a lactase supplement can help you enjoy cheese more comfortably. Now, what about sodium? That's a valid concern, especially if you're watching your blood pressure. Parmesan, because it's aged, does have a higher sodium content. But again, you're only eating small amounts, 1 to 2 tablespoons per meal. Cottage cheese varies a lot depending on the brand. Some versions have over 400 milligrams of sodium per half cup, but many low-sodium options are available with less than 100 milligrams. Check the label and choose what fits your needs. Ricotta is naturally low in sodium, making it a great daily option if you're salt sensitive. And here's another question I get a lot. Doesn't cheese raise cholesterol? Here's what recent research shows. In most people, moderate cheese intake does not raise heart disease risk, especially when it's part of a balanced diet. It's all about portion control and choosing cheeses with high protein and nutritional value like the ones we've covered today. Now, if you take blood thinners like warfarin, keep in mind that cheese contains vitamin K, which can interfere with your medication if your intake changes suddenly. The key is consistency. Don't avoid cheese. Just eat a steady amount and let your doctor know. And finally, if you have kidney disease or reduced kidney function, it's important to talk with your doctor before increasing protein intake from any source, including cheese. Everyone's body is different. The goal is to support your health in a way that works for you. All right, now that we've covered the benefits, the timing, and the health notes, let's put it all together in a simple daily plan you can start using right away. All right, let's bring it all together. If you made it this far, you now know why muscle loss happens, how cheese can help, and which types give you the most benefit. But knowledge is only powerful when you put it into action. So here's a simple plan to get started. Nothing complicated, nothing extreme. Step 1, add all 3 cheeses to your next grocery list. Look for low-fat cottage cheese, whole milk ricotta with minimal ingredients, authentic Parmesan. Look for the rind stamped Parmigiano Reggiano if possible. Step 2, start your day with protein. Tomorrow morning, try half a cup of cottage cheese with fruit, or whole grain toast with a layer of ricotta, a drizzle of honey, and a sprinkle of cinnamon. That one small change can flip your body from muscle loss mode to muscle building mode before your day even begins. Step 3, move your body even just a little. Take a walk around the block, stretch, do a few sit to stands from a chair. Then, within 2 hours, enjoy a snack with cheese. Your muscles will thank you. Step 4, keep it consistent. The studies we talked about showed real results after 60 to 90 days, not from eating cheese once in a while. Make it part of your routine, like brushing your teeth, like taking your vitamins. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep showing up for your body. Step 5, track your progress. In a small notebook or even just on your calendar, write down what cheese you ate, when you ate it, and what movement you did that day. After a few weeks, you may notice things feel a little easier. Getting out of a chair, lifting a bag of groceries, standing longer without needing to sit. And after 90 days, don't be surprised if you feel noticeably stronger, steadier, and more confident. Let's wrap up with this. It's never too late to take better care of your muscles, and you don't need fancy supplements or expensive equipment. You just need 3 simple cheeses, a bit of movement, and a little consistency. So will you try it? Will you eat cottage cheese for breakfast tomorrow? Will you grate fresh Parmesan over your lunch? Will you give your muscles what they need to keep you moving? I believe you will, because I believe everyone deserves to age with strength, with purpose, and with pride. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up. It helps others find it too. Subscribe for more real-life health tips you can actually use. And if you're still watching, thank you. Comment strength starts now below so I know you're with me to the end. Until next time, take care, stay strong, and go eat some cheese. Your future self will thank you for it.